Hi, my name is Jaden Gorham. I'm from Hebron High School just outside Dallas, Texas. I teach chemistry and I started the esports program at our school. I've had the privilege of getting to implement gaming concepts into the curriculum just this past semester. And now it's evolved into this elective where we actually had over 170 kids sign up for it in this next coming year. And so, kids are, lining up to try to take this elective.
Gaming Concepts is an innovative curriculum that blends the excitement of competitive gaming with STEM and educational objectives to foster a strong sense of belonging among students. Schools using Gaming Concepts reported an increase in attendance of up to 10%, alongside an overall rise in self-esteem by 8.3%, and nearly 82% of students expressed they had never participated in any extracurricular activity before Gaming Concepts. Written by educators, for educators, Gaming Concepts features 5 unique courses distinctly tailored for middle school and high school students passionate about this growing industry. Bring the power of esports into the classroom, and you'll find just how impactful Gaming Concepts can be for your school.
There we go. All right. Well, hi, welcome everybody to Season 7 of the Gaming Concepts webinars. Glad to see everybody in here. Happy to see that you are here joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully you're getting right to the end of the day and you don't have much more. This is the last thing you got to do. So try and make it a little enjoyable for you to get some information about Blueprint, get some free PD hours, and yeah, have a good chat about ed tech and stuff like that. So a little bit of things here for the webinar today. If you wouldn't mind, any questions that you guys have out there in the audience, please throw those in the chat. Everyone should be able to chat. Throw those in chat. I see those a lot easier than if you throw them in the Q&A. So please, at any time, if you have questions or comments, please throw those in chat. At the end, there will also be Q&A. If you have questions or more in-depth questions, we can talk about that too. So let's get started here. First webinar of 2025. Very excited about this season that we're going to have with lots of different types of themes and presenters and speakers for this season. So keep in mind and keep updated with the different webinars that we're going to put out on gamingconcepts.gg and also on the YouTube channel where this is going to be hosted. And again, thanks for everybody out there watching and those of you that are here with us this evening. My name's Alex Irby. I'm a part of the education team on Generation Esports, working on the Gaming Concepts curriculum and also working on Blueprint. And I'm happy to share with you today, we're going to be talking about Blueprint, our LXP, our Learning Experience Platform. And we're going to go kind of a deep dive into what it is and how it works and how you can use it. It's going to be a full overview as if you know nothing about it. And so hopefully if you have signed on with us or you're going to use Blueprint for your classroom or your students, then you will have a leg up and understand how to use it fully. So here we go. All right. So what we're going to do, if you want to follow along, you should do that. Otherwise, this is going to be available for eternity on YouTube. So I'm going to share my screen here and we can get going. All right, perfect. All right, so we are here at blueprint.study. That is where our LXP lives. And so blueprint.study is the website that you would go to create an account or sign in, depending on how you're connected through us. If you're not connected through us and you're just curious about Blueprint, go ahead, click sign up, and you can sign up with many different things. Google, Clever, Discord, EdLink, and we offer a host of other SSOs depending on your needs. So if you have one of those SSOs, feel free to sign in through that. Otherwise, you can create an account through the traditional kind of online account creation, first name, email, password, and we will get you in. I, of course, have an account already, so I'm going to sign in with that. And we are in. The only steps that we are going to skip over is the account creation process. It just asks you a few questions, and then that's it. Really, you're dropped into an environment much like this, where you see what you've got in front of you, your dashboard as a teacher. or as an administrator. So let's talk about what we're seeing here as we've logged in for the first time on Blueprint. We have an overview tab, a calendar section, not tabs or sections, overview, calendar, and then recently submitted. This is going to aid you as a teacher to look at your classroom from a bird's eye view. So you're going to see your classroom grade, and you're going to see assignments to grade. Obviously, this is a fresh build here, so I don't have anything in there. You'll see your calendar, which of course, again, nothing in here, but we'll populate that during this webinar tonight. And then we have a recently submitted. So you can see where all your kids or all your students or all your teachers, if you're going to use this for a PD, or maybe you'll use this for HR or something like that, all the students within your course are going to submit their work, and it'll show you that. And I'll show you how this looks populated from another view here later on. So that's your dashboard, kind of gives you an overview. Then moving down the side navigation here, classrooms. Okay, you've got different classrooms that you can build, and we'll go through classroom creation here in a moment. And then you've got your library, things that you have access to, either things that you've created or your district has assigned to you for use in your classroom. Then we have grades, and you can see here that obviously we don't have any grades in here, but it is a full grade book, able to be exported into CSV and uploaded into your different various formats of SIS or LMS reporting systems. Finally, we have help, and the help is, I'm going to switch here. There we go, help. So help is our massive knowledge base. You can search for anything in here that you need help with. Today, we're going to be going through kind of getting started and then a little bit of all of these, but mostly getting started and using the content library and then understanding activities in the gradebook. So we're going to get through all these. Another thing here on there is if you have any problems, you just click submit a ticket and you can type up whatever you need, whatever issue you're having with. We have 0 chatbots with Generation Esports. Everything is done by people that we have that are experts in understanding either the content knowledge, teaching, or the platform itself to understand and help you with any problem that you would have with Blueprint. And then a link to our webinars that'll just take you right to our YouTube page for our webinar. So all the helps here for you to be able to get anything you might need in terms of assistance on the platform. All the way down at the bottom, you have notifications here. You can see I don't have any notifications right now, but you may get some where students turn in an assignment late, or they're asking for a resubmission, or there might be a system update. Things like that would come through your notifications. And then finally, your profile here, you can view your profile and your account settings, then as well as log out down here. And then at the very bottom, shield your eyes, but you can switch from dark mode, which is what we're in right now, into light mode. And you can see that definitely flashes up on my face. It's a little dark in here, but yeah, you can work in light mode if you choose to. So that's kind of your left side navigation area, so that you can understand like where all these things go and what they do. But we're going to go all the way back up to the top, and we're going to start by creating a classroom so that we understand how this functions with students and how it functions within our school. So classrooms is here. Yours would most likely be empty. So we're going to click on create a classroom. All right, and it's going to give us some things here. Oh, I'm in the wrong school. That would help if I was in the right school. There we go. All right, so let's say we're going to say this is going to be, uh-oh, I switched sites on it and it didn't like that. All right, there we go. So this is going to be our Gaming Concepts Computer Applications 2024 classroom. And this is going to be for your description, could be anything really. I'm just going to type in description for us here, but this might be your class summary or something that might be in your course guidebook that students are reading, just to have some more filler there for students to know kind of what the class is that they're looking at. Here you can upload your thumbnail banner images if you'd like. The thumbnail is going to be what the class looks like as students come into it, and then the banner image is going to be what is behind all of your content behind at the top. And those are images that you can pick or have students create for you to kind of drive home that kind of ownership of these classes. If you're doing it for esports or you're doing it for graphic design or whatever you want to use Blueprint for, because you can use it for anything. These banner images can be custom to what you want. Schedule settings below that for your classroom. This is going to affect this classroom only. So if you have multiple classrooms, this will only apply rules to this classroom. So know that if you have multiple classrooms, each of these can be different. We're going to just run on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday are not checked. This is not a huge component of scheduling, but it does make things a little bit easier because when you go to bulk schedule content from the content library, it will only schedule on days that you have checked. And so if you pick every day, then you'll get 7 days worth of content put in, which isn't a big deal if you mess up here because you can always just move everything. You can also come back and edit this if it's not the right schedule for you. You can also have some kind of gates in place, some gatekeeping in place for your students where you can hide lessons until a certain number of days before they're scheduled. So, if you want students to be able to see, just kind of one a day at a time, but you have assigned maybe, all the lessons within one of our courses or within the courses you have access to. So maybe that's a whole semester worth of content. So, one class or lesson every day. Maybe you only want them to see one day before they're scheduled, or maybe you want them to see 3 because you're on a modified block. And so they can see a little bit ahead because they have days off in between. So you can also enable course advancements requirements. And so you can add things like a minimum lesson score percentage. This is really great to ensure that students are meeting a high bar. When I was a teacher, our virtual school had a threshold of 70%, and that students had to meet 70% to advance to the next lesson or activity. So this would be something that would make sure and ensure that students are meeting a high bar of expectation and rigor that you might be having at your school. As well as that, you may require, alternatively, I should say, a full lesson completion regardless of score. So this is going to be making sure that they have read through and completed all the content regardless of score for them to move on. This would ensure that students are completing all of the content within it, so their background knowledge matches where you think they should be. Otherwise, they don't have access to anything. So. We're not going to do that for this one because it could throw some wrenches in without any students present, but we're going to also look at blocking out classroom holidays. So maybe you want to put in all your days off here. All the school holidays, all your breaks can be put in here, and then the system will schedule around all of that stuff. So you don't have to ever move things around if you've put all this stuff in here. So, if I say, January 20th, just the 20th is MLK Day. Okay, oops. Then we can have that schedule in, and we can add in more holidays as they come in, or bulk sit there and do the calendar like that. All right, let's create the classroom here. And there it goes. We are in it. Okay, so how I get to this page normally would be I would click on my classrooms, and we can see here in my classrooms, then I have my gaming concepts, computer applications 2024. And I'm in this classroom. So within my classroom, it looks a little different than just out on the dashboard, because remember, the dashboard shows me an overview of the classroom and all of its components. And this is actually the working classroom is in this screen. So I have my schedule. Again, it's blank. We'll fill that in a little bit. But I have announcements where I can post to students, and I can post almost anything in this box for students to see. Or to kind of engage with, because they can like it, is the only option they have. But you can post, content in here like text. You can post a link. You can post a picture or image, a GIF. You can post a video, lots of things. You can build a table in here. It's a full rich text editor. So almost anything you can put in here for students to see. So whether that's a short announcement like happy birthday to a student, or that you're going to be gone for the day, up to detailed plans for what students are going to do, what they're going to watch, can all be facilitated like this if you need to. Across the top again, students are here, and we can add students quickly right here, and this will give them a code that refreshes every hour. So this is not something if you're sending stuff out before your class starts, don't send out this little code. This is going to be your in-person code for students to use to get in. What I would suggest if you're going to send this out and it's going to be longer than an hour, you copy this invite link and you send it out to your students that way through email. That way they can join right in and they will be dropped right into this classroom that you have created. Then across the top again, another tab we have here is grades. Obviously there's no grades, we don't have any students, but their grade book here for this classroom is here, as well as over on the left, like we talked about earlier. So those are what you have at the top. You also have settings up by your course name. If I click on settings, we can go back in here and you see this is all the stuff that we talked about earlier when we created our classroom. We can go back in and change these if we need to. Change the thumbnail and banner images, change our schedule, change specific things, add dates. But also in here is where we can add an instructor or maybe a para or a co-teacher. This is somebody that would have access to the course and have access to what you see as a teacher, and they kind of will co-teach with you. But it also is a great way for a para to be in here so that they could help out with students and see the course instructions and lesson instructions and kind of the teacher side, and not just the student side where they might be missing vital information that you as the teacher have given out in class or have access to because you are the teacher. This is also where you would archive your classroom or delete your classroom if needed, would be down there as settings also for you to do. Another setting for you for this classroom is your gradebook setting. And so in your gradebook settings, you can disable the gradebook. Maybe this is just going to be kind of after school content that you're going to be doing for team building or enrichment or something like that. And grades don't matter. And so you can disable your gradebook. Other than that, you can assign late assignments, percentages per day, per week, percentages according to your district or building's late grading policies. And then you can build out your specific letter grades, highly customizable here for teachers and for districts to have this grading scale exactly how they have. So you can disable certain letter grades. Maybe you only do A, B, C, D, F, and you don't do pluses, minuses. Maybe you want a different scale, where A isn't your traditional A. A, just for intensive purposes, A is going to be from 95 to 100. Okay. So from, well, it's kind of messing up. So because you can't have 97. So yeah, so you can't have 95. So 95 to 97. I was reading that backwards. 95 to 97, 97 to 100. So you can tweak all of these percentages so that you can have a custom grade book according to whatever your grading scheme would be. All right, back out here to the main part of the classroom schedule. So you can see here our calendar is blank, and we want to assign some content. So if you are with us with Generation Esports and you're on the Gaming Concepts curriculum, right here is where you're going to click Edit Schedule in your classroom. Okay, so this is going to be one method that we can schedule content in. This is going to open up the scheduler, and you can see here I've already got MLK Day down here. Remember, I did that when I created my classroom. So that shows the good that's there. But it shows our day that we're on. And then we can do a couple of things here. We can add content or we can add more events. So you don't have to put all those events in when you build your classroom out. You might do a fun thing where you are getting your classroom ready and you want to put all the students' birthdays in. And so from here, you can click or hover over the number of each day. And you can say, right here, we're going to create an event. And this is going to be Jack's birthday. Okay, it's 1/16. All right, so there's Jack's birthday. But obviously, then other than putting in fun stuff for the calendar, you can also put in content. So let's say for today, we're going to click the plus, and we can schedule a lesson. So whatever you have access to will pop up and populate this lesson scheduler from. Obviously, I can have access to all the courses, but you may have access to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, however many courses you might be with us, or you have created, or you and your teachers have created your own course. We'll talk about that later, and you would have access to that. So let's just pick this one here, the Rising Champions course, and I'm going to just put in this one, and it's going to ask me, yes, do I want to put this in here? And I say yes, So there it is. It's put in there. Let me kind of talk you through what it's showing you as what it's put into this calendar day. The gray is going to be your content. So this is going to be your reading materials and your overview. After that, then it's going to be discussion boards for these. Let me show you a different lesson that has some different colors. So if I pick this one and I pick, say, this one, you can see I got a discussion board and something else. I've got an assignment. So there are several different types of activities or engagements that we have with students on the platform. One is discussion boards. So, just like you would imagine, and collaborative discussion boards among students and yourself. But also we have assignments where students are going to answer questions. They're going to engage with the platform for matching and sorting and order of operations, and uploading content and reviewing content, stuff like that. So that's going to be an assignment that students are going to do. Let's say we know that Eyes on the Prize is going to be a longer lesson. I've looked at that as a teacher, either through the library or I click on it and I've looked at it. It's going to take a little bit more time. So similar to other LMS systems, right? This is going to be the content that's on that day is scheduled, assigned, and due on that day. But maybe you want the due date to be later. Well, in other systems, you might have to go in, change the preferences or settings for the assignment, save it, make sure it's on the right section, go back, check it, and like that. But in Blueprint, what you're able to do is just to move it like this, right? And so now my due date for this content is tomorrow, or I'm sorry, is on Thursday. So all I had to do was drag it and it sticks like that. And automatically, as soon as I hit save up here, will update that for students for them to see that the due date is now on Thursday, and they have an additional day. So it's a really simple way to do that. Maybe the discussion board gets away from us. Maybe we go crazy on the discussion board and the kids are, super into it. And we go really in depth and we have an awesome conversation. The bell rings. We forgot to talk about screens and eye strain. Well, we are going to ungroup our activities. As you saw, I was trying to grab it, ungroup it, and I'm going to move it right over there. So now we can do that tomorrow. So you can tier this however you want. You want to do content one day, you want to do one activity the next day, you want to do another activity the following day. All of this can be kind of expanded, contracted, and modified however your classroom functions and what best fits for you. So now you can see I do content and I do discussion board Wednesday, Thursday, and then I start the screens and eye strain assignment on Thursday. It ends and due on Friday. So that's how we assign all that. So that's how we move or we add content individually. So this would be, kind of your one at a time. You're going to kind of choice pick lessons you want to use, and you want to go day by day. Totally fine. Love that idea because it's a lot less, kind of setup, and I may have done that as a teacher as well. Big thing on here, please make sure you hit save right up here in the corner. Hit save, make sure that check mark shows up so that everything is saved, everything you've done. Okay. From there up the top, you still have the same buttons as when you go over the numbers on each day. So that's the same thing. And then you have some bulk actions. You can clear your calendar if you want to clear it. Okay. And then you're grouping activities together so you can't move things individually. This is on by default. So everything groups together so it's not going to move individually by default. Okay, so that's how we add content to it individually. Let's add content as a bulk action. So if I go to my next navigation tile here on the left and I click on library, you can see I've got access to a good amount of stuff. So I'm going to open up our streaming course that I have access to. Maybe you have access to a different one or some other ones. And so you can see here it's got an about, it's got a little course commercial here describing what it is. It's got a table of contents here. And you can see I've got all my content here on all my units. It says how many lessons are in each unit and how many activities are within that unit. Okay, so quite a bit of activities. This course in particular is a whole semester and it covers, streaming, which overwrites for many schools in the US, public speaking standards 1-to-1. So if you have public speaking in your school, you could use this course and hit the exact same standards that your state is requiring for public speaking. Just a little tidbit on that. So let's say this is the course I have. This is what I'm going to teach. A couple levels of customization here on what you want to schedule. At the very top here, you can click on schedule course, and that will schedule all 86 something lessons, 91 lessons, according to your classroom settings. If you want to schedule just units at a time, you can come down here to the unit and click schedule, and then you will schedule that entire unit. If you want to go in deeper, and I can open the unit and you can see here I can schedule the individual lesson if this is how you wanted to do it. Very similar to how we were doing it on the calendar one by one. But we want to see the magic here and kind of set it and forget it. So I'm going to click schedule course. I'm going to pick my classroom, computer applications. I'm going to pick my start date. We're going to start February 1, so I don't get all my dates all mixed up. Actually be the 3rd because that's the first day in February that we would have class, and I'm going to click schedule. Okay, so I'll spin for a second and then go away. It has been scheduled to our classroom. So let's go back and check. Go to my classroom. Here's my classroom. And let's go to the month view. And here we go. You can see that streaming has been scheduled in here. So as I go through, you can see everything has been scheduled. Students will have access to all of this according to my rules of students, what they can have access to, their visibility rules, and can work through this either, asynchronously or synchronously with you, even according to the grading requirement rules. And so great course for students great way for students to work through this according to the rules you have set up. So everything's in here. You don't have to do anything. You just, day by day, today is Tuesday, March 25th. And we're going to open up this one, staying safe while streaming. All right, I'm here, I'm the teacher. Click it open, and away we go. We're going to start teaching. I got everything here. Let's talk about what a lesson looks like. We've scheduled them all. Let's teach it. Let's figure out how this goes. The courses are all designed, especially by us, so that you don't necessarily have to know anything. You can be that champion of esports, that facilitator of esports, or of this class, because you might not be using this for esports, but you can have your cheat sheet here at the beginning if you're using our courses. So over here on the overview, that's what students are not going to see. This is going to be what you see as the teacher, and this goes for either our content or your content. So if you have stuff that you don't want the users of your course seeing, all of that content will go in the overview section. So for us, in talking about gaming concepts, that's going to be the lesson overview, the objectives, materials needed, standards alignment, and then the directions for instruction. And so these are detailed instructions that the teacher need to go through this content sequentially with your students. Students will start here on the lesson overview, and they get some of the same stuff, not exactly, just what they need to be successful here, which is their objective basically in the materials. Then you'd work through sequentially going down the row here. We're going to start with this, excuse me. They're going to start with this little video, and then we're going to move into understanding what we're going to do for today. We're going to learn about peer review strategies and being impromptu, how to give an impromptu speech. We're going to go through a lot of this stuff. We're going to try again. We're going to do it again, and we're going to journal about it. Okay, a big component of the Gaming Concepts curriculum is the journaling and ELA component that's built in, and so that's built into all of our lessons. Your lessons that you create, which you could be obviously wildly different. It could be a science lesson, it could be a health lesson, it could be a math lesson, but these are kind of the overviews of how all of that works and how it looks for students. If you are using our stuff, or you have been given content from another entity, you are always able to edit your lesson to be custom to you and cater to your school, your demographic, anything you want. So let's say you're doing this lesson overview and you want to change these videos. Great. You just click edit lesson. Here it is. You're in the lesson editor. I click lesson overview and I pop in, type that, and I put in the link that I want. Okay. And you just want to click create lesson when you're done. You don't necessarily have to save it to a specific site. You more than likely will only have one. But I'm not going to save that, but you can make any changes you want, add, remove, enhance however you'd like to do it, so that your students can have the best experience based on, your knowledge of what you want to teach them. So that's what a lesson would look like with students following along. And I mentioned that you can create your own. So if we go back out to the library, which is where we found this stuff, you can create your own courses in Blueprint. So it's awesome that you can put things that you might have in notebooks or things that you have gathered over the years as a teacher, and put that into an online platform that students can use. That's safe, it's well built, and something that can offer them an enhanced experience over other free platforms. So you put your image in here, title, description, outline, and then your units. And so then you can just start planning lessons. When I click plan lesson, it puts me into the lesson planner. So here's your teacher instructions I talked about. It's just a big box for you to type everything in you want, but you can also add videos and images and links and tables and formatting. You can do all of those things in here. And then you can add an activity, like adding an assignment, a discussion board, a journal, another rich text box where students would be reading a lengthy bit of text that you might have gotten from an article or something that you've typed out, detailed instructions for a project. Maybe they're going to do a survey or a short poll or quick check, or they're going to do a test. So all of these items are on here for you to build awesome content with Blueprint. So I encourage you, if you're with us or not with us, check out some of these functions and features, because there's so much in here that we could spend double the amount of time on this webinar for sure, in how we do things like custom content, building courses, online learning, and all that stuff. But as a brief overview, know that you have the ability to create all of this yourself, and then it's saved to your site. When you log in, it creates you as a site. Whether you're creating that for your school, or whether your school has purchased this for you, you have the ability to create your own stuff, or add your own stuff. It doesn't have to be our stuff. Like I said, it could be math, science, PE, social studies, whatever you want. And you can add in questions types like this: file upload, fill in the blank, matching, multiple choice, multiple select, sort into boxes, a text answer, a text break for further information. So sometimes when you're having these online interaction with students, you get so far with one question that you've started at the top, but you want to drill down a little deeper, and you need to give them a little bit more information to get to the point where you want them to be. So text break is for you to add more content for the students to drill down deeper into the question, or into the learning you're doing. And then finally, true false. So those are the question types that you can do in tests and in assignments. If you look at surveys, is the other kind of engagement that we do. Click add section, click into the section, add questions. We can do a quick poll. All right, so students can have a question, they can vote on that question. This is really neat because it shows in real time as students answer it up on the board. So as the teacher, you have this open, you're on page 2 here of your lesson, and they're voting on this question that you put on. It's going to show that in real time. Okay, so you can say here, mark results public to the classroom. You can also mark anything gradable or automatically submitted as passed. Another thing in here is the slider scale. Okay, nothing fancy here, but students will have to slide and interact with the platform a little bit to see what they're doing. Maybe it's a question on social emotional learning. Maybe it's a question on math, or how you're feeling, or something like that, or a rating scale or something like that you might use slider scale for. And then finally, quick rate. Quick rate's my favorite a little bit, but only because it's got all the icons here. This is great, like I just mentioned, for SEL, but this is great for just a quick check. How did the lesson go today, right? Quick exit ticket, quick bell ringer. These are great for those if you want to add those in, or start building content with that. So you got smiles, you got numbers, and then you got thumbs up, thumbs down. So really great, quick, informal assessment tool here that you can have as graded or non-graded, and can really build content out to your heart's content, and see how students are doing and interacting with your content. Sure, I'll save that. So that's how you build it, and you just keep adding, new lesson, however you want, until you want to build a new unit. And we have teachers that are building, awesome, amazing courses on here with us that are doing all kinds of things with Blueprint. Like there's an auto mechanics course on here. There's a welding course on here. There are some, ad hoc kind of on your own, esports, custom esports programs that that teachers are building based off of our stuff. So many cool things that are being built on here for teachers to use. Within your course that you make, you can allow custom lessons. So maybe you build something, maybe you're an instructional designer or you're a curriculum specialist for your district or you're an HR manager, and you're going to put something out this for your employees or for your users. This toggle here in the course allows you to allow the teachers of your course to use custom lessons and edit the content. So whether that's good or bad, that's up to you. So we always allow it on all our content. So if you want to do that, great. People can edit it. And then finally, is this going to be private? Is it going to be public to the sites you select, or is it going to be public to all my sites? Like I said, if you're a curriculum specialist or a designer, you might have it public to certain sites because you're helping to build content for middle schools. So maybe the middle schools in your district you would select, and you can put those in there. And then finally, you can clone and delete. If you need to make a slight alteration for differentiation, or you need a course that's a little bit higher level, but you don't want to lose all your content, you just want to expand upon it. That's where this clone course tools is really great if you want to build upon all the work you've already done. Oops, save changes, can't save that. I don't have any content in there. So we'll just go back to the library. All right. That is a lot, and I apologize because I do tend to talk kind of fast. Does anyone have any questions or something that they'd like me to go over again or kind of go into a little bit more depth on for Blueprint and its functions? I'll wait for appropriate wait time. Oh, good question. Okay, yes. So question we got is students are taking it, but you mentioned resubmit. Yes. So if students have completed an assignment, they are always able to go back in and edit the activity. So let's just click into an activity here. Okay, so here we are, food and activity log that students are going to do, right? So let's say they completed this on Friday, and you are going to grade it on Wednesday, the next week. That's just when you decide to grade it. As long as you haven't graded it, students are always able to go back in and edit their answers because you haven't graded it yet. If you have graded it, in their grade book, they will see the grade, and there is an option for asking for a retake, and then you will be notified whether you allow that or not. So yeah, good question. You'll always have that option to do that. Any other questions? I check Q&A because some people came in later. Make sure nobody has any Q&A questions. Perfect. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about a few more things. Let's kind of look at it when we have students in here. I'm going to switch to a new site. All right, so let's say I've got students in here. I don't always remember where I have students at. Here we go. Okay, so you can see here, I've got this class running right now. Class grade, super low. I'm not a very good at, kids aren't doing too great. Whether that's me or them, hard to say. I have 2 graded assignments to grade. You can see here as my dashboard, this is like a lot of content going on. And then I can see here everything that has been submitted by my students, what has been submitted, and then when it was due, and then when it was submitted. Okay, this is where I can visit my gradebook. It'll take me right to my big gradebook here. For fundamentals, you can see here, lots of stuff. They aren't doing too hot. So let's take a look at the gradebook. All right, there's some submissions here that need to be graded. So I'm going to look at this one here. And if I got a couple of options here. So if I click on this arrow, then it's going to open up my grading tray, and I can put my grade in here. I can also just type it in here in the spreadsheet, as I do air quotes on that. Type it in the spreadsheet, but also here, what I'm going to put a grade in for. I can also mark it excused late, and I can also offer comments for students that they will get notification about. I can enter the submission view here, and I can see what was submitted. So section 1, what are we looking at here? So these students did not answer all of these questions right. I can just go through here and I can, put my points in as needed, right? Obviously, it's ungraded, so it doesn't have to be graded. That's because this assignment specifically is an ungraded one, but you would have a one that is graded. So you'd put all your questions in here, or all your points in here for this assignment, and then you can submit grade. It will tally everything as you put them in over here. If you decided to just put them in here, right? So if I put 1, 1, 1, 1, then it's going to keep track over here. So, and I apologize, I misspoke. Ungraded because I have not put a grade in here, even though it is for 0 points. So I put in there, upload a recording. This one's out of 10. We have supplied point values for you. You don't have to use that, but we have supplied a generic point grading scheme. So any question that the platform has is usually 1 point. And then a discussion board post is worth 5 points. A journal entry is worth 5 points. And then anything that students are going to upload, so like a larger project, is worth 10. Is kind of the scheme that we have. But you don't have to follow that at all. You can change anything you want. Okay, looks like they uploaded the right thing here. And so they've got full points if we had made this a real assignment with 18 points for real. And I can say great job. If I spell that right. And I can submit my grade. Okay, so it has been submitted. Now I can reset my grade. And this would highlight if students are starting to do retakes, okay, if they're asking for submissions. All right. So that's kind of the grade book. Within the grade book, you can affect a couple of other settings. Like, if we have I guess I should go back in and show you. You can affect a couple of other different settings. You can sort and do lots of different things like that. But if you say you've got this assignment right here, you can click on the assignment and you can edit the settings for it. So, like I said, you can affect all the points. So you're say section 1 is worth 6. Well, you want it to be worth 10. You want this one to be worth 15. Maybe you don't want it to be gradable, but you do want to be gradable. Auto pass, maybe you want this to be auto passed, and then hide grade. So maybe this is an exam that people are taking as they come in. You don't want people to see their grades or see the correct answers until a certain date. That's in here too. So that's in the assignment details when you click on any of your gradebook assignments for what you've done. You can also just view the activity if you want to go right to it. And take you right here, esports opportunities, this assignment. Okay, so that's the gradebook. And that's really it, aside from really getting into the nuts and bolts of content creation, and that would be a whole other course really on understanding online learning and all that stuff. So I hope that this has provided you with a detailed overview of the Blueprint LXP. And how you could use it in your classroom, or you could use it, for the purposes of online learning, whether that's with students, with any type of students, adult or, traditional students. So again, any questions here at the end, I'm happy to ask or happy to answer any questions that anyone has over the platform, gaming concepts, Generation Esports, ed tech in general. We can chat about that. Anything that you want to talk about, I'm happy to answer. Good question. How much is it? We get this all the time. How much is it? Blueprint is completely free. 100% free. There's no restrictions on it. There's no limits. So you feel free to sign up, even if you're not with us. Sign up and use it, because we have people doing it all over the country and are creating some cool courses on there for their students to engage in. So 100% free, no strings attached, nothing to it. Good question. Anyone else? Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. This video will be posted on our YouTube page later this week. Again, those of you that are in attendance are going to get that 1 hour of PD credit or continuing education credit that will be emailed to you for signing up and attending. And if you like this content and you want to see more of this, there will be more throughout our season 7, which will go through May of this year. Make sure that you like and subscribe to these videos so you're notified when we get the new ones out, or head over to gamingconcepts.gg so that you can register for all of the upcoming webinars and check out what's going on with Gaming Concepts in real time. Again, my name is Alex Herbie. Thank you so much for attending, and we will see you later. Thank you so much. Bye.